Today on the channel, we break some new ground. The first entries in the Legends of Lucha Libre series from Boss Fight. We've got Rey Fenix and Penta. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another wrestling figure review, our bread and butter here on the channel. And today we've got a special one, Boss Fight Studios, their first entry into the wrestling figure arena with Rey Fenix and Penta. But remember, for all your Boss Fight figure needs, the Legends of Lucha Libre, hit up Big Bad Toy Store or Ringside Collectibles. Big Bad Toy Store, link in the description below. Ringside Collectibles, use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. So you got a few options out there, among as well as Boss Fight, who pre-ordered these. You can buy these from. I don't think you can buy them straight from Boss Fight. At this point, there might be some leftovers down the road you can. So a few places to buy this, but you're not going to find these at Walmart, Target. Maybe one day. I kind of doubt that, but very cool. We've getting more wrestling figures than ever before. Obviously, we got Mattel, we've got Jazzwares, we got Super 7, and now we got Boss Fight. And guess what? At the end of the video, we'll compare these two different figures from those other ones I just mentioned. So a little comparison at the end. But we're going to do it like we normally do it. We're going to take a look at the packaging, unbox it, talk about it, move on to the next one, and go from there. So let's start it off. Let's start it with old Rey Fenix. Here's the old packaging. So we've never seen this packaging before. This is brand new for us. You got Legends of Lucha Libre down here, a little glamour shot, of course. You got Rey Fenix, the name right on the side. My first time I looked at these, when I opened the box, I was like, why is there no name? It took me a while to catch my eye to see the name on this one. So that's an interesting anecdote. We'll call it an anecdote. Why not? Love the blue background on these. Blue really pops on this with the kind of grayish silver, lightish white kind of background against that blue. Really pops. The packaging really pops. You can see there you got an extra head, you got some extra hands. What's he come with? A kendo stick. Gotta have a kendo stick. But very cool. I don't see any paint imperfections, any issues right off the bat in the packaging. So that is really cool. I do note there is a J-hook for these, but it is unpunched. So I guess if retailers, whoever's selling these, mom and pop stores, toy stores, stuff like that, they can pop those onto a traditional J-hook if they want. But pretty cool to see this unpunched. I think that's pretty cool. That's about it on the front of the package. Boss Fight Studios logo, real small down here. Nothing too much up top, kind of a traditional window box. On the side, you got a picture of Rey Fenix. I think it would have been a little cooler if they would have put him in the gear he's in the figure. I think that would have made a little bit more sense, but it is what it is. Still cool to get the glamour shot. Ain't nothing over here, just a window, letting a light in, all that kind of fun stuff there. On the bottom, what do we got here? Includes figure, alternate head, alternate hands, and weapon accessories. Follow us at Boss Fight Studios. Just kind of some of the legalese, I guess we'd call it, down there on the bottom. And then you got the back of the package. There it is, that blue. I really do like that blue. You got 3 action shots right next to the figure, which I think is cool as well. And then promoting, always be promoting. I say it all the time. You got Penta down there, and then you got the 2 accessory packs that Boss Fight made. Very cool they made those accessories packs. Guess what, though? I passed on those. I did not get those accessory packs. I felt like I didn't need those. Who knows? Maybe one day down the line. I just didn't feel I needed those right now. So there you go. We got a little bit of a blurb up top there. I'll read that like we always do. Let's see what it says about old Rey Fenix, his stats. His height is 5'9", 176 pounds. From Mexico City, Mexico. Debuted in 2007. Let's see. Finishing move, the MMD, the Mexican Muscle Driver. So there you go. Obviously, it's been an interesting one with these figures as, 18, 19 months pre-order. Took a long time, COVID, all that fun stuff, but almost 2 years. We've talked about it before with Super 7. You hate places sitting on your money that long. Very difficult to swallow, a hard pill to swallow. These were, $35 roughly, so $70 plus some shipping. $70, I mean, it's not the end of the world, at least for me. Maybe somebody it is, but 70 wasn't the end of the world for me. But it's an awful long time to sit on a pre-order. I can't remember, but I remember maybe the Jazzwares ones got announced after these, and they've been on the market for months right now. Totally not apples to apples. Boss Fight, a much smaller studio than Jazzwares. We understand all that stuff. We talk about it a lot on the channel. But not a big fan of having to wait this long for these. Hopefully the future series will get moving a little bit quicker. I think COVID really struck Boss Fight, maybe more than some of the other figure companies out there. That's just kind of reading between the lines. It seemed to be that way. I don't know if that's the case or if they had issues with paint, smaller production runs. I'm not really sure. It'll be interesting to see the value long-term with these figures, as very similar to Super 7. Super 7, a little higher price point, a little bit more detail and more packaging and stuff like that, possibly in the boxes. Not sure exactly each one's business models. I don't work for the companies, I'm not sure. But very comparable type companies, Boss Fight and Super 7. It'll be interesting which one holds their value and are worth more long run. Super 7 does have a bit more of a name than Boss Fight, and there are people that collect everything Super 7, believe it or not. So there's some people that probably bought the New Japan figures that maybe don't buy wrestling figures normally. And then getting these two figures as well in the Jazzwares line, getting them multiple times, will that stop people from buying these? Where the New Japan figures, that's pretty much your only chance is New Japan. So it's similar but different. There's a lot of questions to be asked, and only Father Time will know the answer there. Anyways, there's enough chit-chat. Let's get down to it. Let's open up Rey Fenix. And I just ripped the box a little bit. I would try to be nice with this, but no, it's not. It's just, we're just ripping it. We're ripping pieces off. It is what it is. It's open. It's open. All right. Let's pull this blue thing out. There's a regular package. See you later. Just a blue background, but very similar to Mattel's background packaging. You guys know that. They've had all kinds of different backgrounds over the years with Mattel, but that's exactly what this feels like. Just reminds me of all that kind of fun stuff. See you later. See you later. All right. No twist ties, none of that kind of stuff holding him in. It's a double plastic bubble, so we'll get the plastic prison first. There it is. Love a good plastic prison. And then you open up the top. Well, I thought it was taped. It is not taped. Just regular. See you later. All right, I'm soaking it in. I'm soaking in Rey Fenix. What do I think here? First thing I noticed right off the bat is his open hands here. So he's got 2 extra set of hands, so 3 total sets of hands. You got the kendo stick plus the extra head. But I'm looking at these hands, and you can see them in the plastic prison probably best. Look at the wrinkles on those hands. That's attention to detail. I really like these. I mean, just looking here, we haven't touched them yet, but really the whole thing looks very top-notch. Very, very good quality. I would have to say, Jazzwares, Super 7, Boss Fight, first impression, first look at the figures, Boss Fight wins between the 3. We struggled with the paint applications, the really light coloring on the Jazzwares Series 1. Super 7, to me, first sight, looked very FTC to me. It looked very plasticky. The colors looked raw. This looks like a slam dunk. This reminds me of a bit of some of the WWE Ultimate Editions from Mattel, but next level. I mean, it's like Jazzwares figures, kind of like that Series 4, Kenny Omega, and that whole Series 4 set, just a game-changing set. Cody in there, they look so much better. This looks like they're up to Series 4 quality of AEW Jazzwares right off the chute. So we gotta love that. If this is their first thing, this is their first foray, and they nailed it that good on the likeness and the looks, where's the ceiling for this? How much better can Boss Fight get? So I'm very pleased to see these. But then we'll see. Let's see what the articulation feels like, what the figures actually feel like next. But we're going to start with some of the accessories. I'm going to knock those out quick. Hands are hands. You need hands. And you expect from the Boss Fight Super 7s of the world, we expect a lot of hands and stuff. I mean, that's a no-brainer. There it is. Got them out. See you later. Plastic prison. Nice kendo stick. We've had kendo sticks before in the past with Mattel. We've had them with Jax. We've had them with FTC even, I believe. This is a nice one because it's weathered. It's a dirty, grimy kendo stick. I don't know if it needed to be this grimy, but it's a very cool accessory. I like that a lot. Hands are hands. You got 2 holding hands. You got 2 open palm hands. And then you've got 2 fisted hands. Of course, you need those. It does have his tattoos that are on his hands. I think that is a great touch. People would be complaining if that was missed. I am not super familiar with Rey Fenix or Penta and their tattoos and all that. I don't dive that deep into them and knowing that. But obviously they have all these tattoos, so they put them on there. I think that is very, very cool. Now let's see what we got going on here. First impressions, extremely tight joints. Love it. You guys that watch me on the channel know I hate loose joints out of the packaging. Nothing grates on me more than that. And man, these things are a work of art. I tell you what, I love the tight joints. These are extremely tight. I'm not sure if there's going to be a lot of people, kids, playing with these. These are more adult collector figures. However, the joints are so tight, I don't foresee them even getting loose. Like, you know, some of the Mattels, Jacks back in the day, you know, if you start moving it too much, bending it too much, eventually it's going to wear and get a little loose on you. I do not feel that way with these at all. Extremely solid articulation. I tell you what, guys, these are very, very solid. Moving there, I thought I had a stuck ankle, but nope, it's good. All right, let's run through the articulation quick. You guys know I'm not a huge articulation connoisseur that I run through that stuff a lot. We talk about it once or twice every once in a while. Don't really need to run it through all the time. However, this being a brand new type of figure, Boss Fight's first foray, let's talk articulation. So we'll start with the hand. Obviously, the hands are removable. Let's see how hard it is to remove. About the same as others. A little harder to get, but I appreciate that if it's a little bit more work. That's okay. Kind of goes in with a screw. The hands, and I'll show you here. So you can see on this one, hopefully you can see that. It's basically like a screw, like an actual screw, and they screw in, not just a pop in. So you really do got to screw them in. Nice attention to detail there. Ooh, these wrist, the wrist band, wrist wear, whatever you want to call it, that is removable. So you can take that off if you'd like. I assume the, yep, very removable. The elbow pad removable as well. I love that. Very cool. Okay, back to the articulation. Got distracted. I got just like shiny new thing. Oh my gosh, taking me away. We got the wrist and the hands are removable, of course. You've got elbow, you got bicep swirl, you got shoulder, then you got the big time butterfly. You got a lot of movement here with the butterfly going on. Very cool. You can see that in there. A deep cut. I don't know if anybody else has anything quite like that on the market. But so you got all the regular arm articulations that we're used to, plus the butterfly shoulders, which mean a lot to a character like this. That's a high flyer. You got to get into dynamic positions. Perfect right there. Head obviously moves side to side. He does have a hole in his back, which is interesting. Looks like he's ready for a G.I. Joe backpack. You guys know G.I. Joe, old school backpack, stuff like that. So we got the head, the neck, all that kind of stuff. The removable head, of course. Then we looked at this one. More of a smiley face on this one. Very solid. And same, obviously, the other arm. So then you got waist moves. You can move them at the waist, of course. You got the diaphragm moving all over the place. Tons of articulation, like we said. Then you get down to the legs. So you got the leg articulation side to side. You can go all the way out like that. And you go a little bit forward. Go all the way forward, actually. You can do all kinds of yoga positions. Back. Yeah, you can even kind of get back there. A lot of articulation in that joint. There's a lot of movements you can get out of that. Double jointed knees. Interesting, it's just a plastic piece for the kneecap. Usually we have kind of a knee pad that goes over the body, similar to the elbow pads. Not in this case. This is molded in. I don't hate it, though. Then you got the boot articulation. It looks to move. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, okay. One of them's a little stuck than the other one. But you can move them at the boot, of course. And then the ankles, just like we're used to. So tons and tons of articulation on this one. Man, this is solid, guys. I tell you what, these tattoo work even is extremely solid. Very cool. Very, very solid figures. Actually better than expected. I love it when we get figures that are better than expected. I said it earlier. You don't know what you're going to get first time in the line, especially when a company has never really done wrestling figures before. But I tell you what, they knocked this out of the park. Slam dunk. Now, one test we always do, ringside collectible stands. I say it all the time. Spend your money on your figures, not your stands. RingsideCollectiblesStands.com, RingsideCollectibles.com. Their stands right now for the WrestleMania sale, $249 for a 10-pack. You can use these for Marvel Legends, you name it, everything under the sun. But can you use them for boss fight figures? We got a hole in the foot. Will it fit? Will it be standard? Ooh, yes. A little tougher to get in there, but it fits. There it is. I was a little worried for a second, but there you go. If anybody was wondering, ringside collectible stands work fine for at least Rey Fenix. We'll try it with Penta as well. But man, I tell you guys, this is a good figure. This is better than anticipated, so I am very, very happy with that. So we're going to put him to the side now for a second. We'll talk about him a little bit later. We'll put him to the side. We're going to open up Penta. And then after we get Penta opened up, we're going to compare them to Super 7, Mattel, some Jazzwares, and even, Jazzwares, Mattel, and Super 7. There you go. Easy for me to say. So we'll do some comparisons at the end. But next up, let's unbox Penta. All right, next up, we've got Penta. Penta 0M, that is. Not Pentagon Jr. I believe that's what he used to be called. I think probably moving to AEW, probably naming rights, all that kind of stuff. Not super familiar, but I feel like I heard that story once upon a time. I remember seeing him at indie shows locally back in the day, and I actually met him one time, briefly. I mean, we're best friends at this point, I think. Yeah, not really, but I did meet him back in the day. So let's take a look at the packaging on old Penta 0M. Yeah, that's it. Penta looking really cool. So one thing I noticed right off the bat, and you probably do as well, we had the blue background with Rey Fenix. Looks like we've got a yellowish orange sunburst background on this one. So it'll be interesting to note if down the line they're going to do a different color for each different figure. I think that could be cool. You get some greens, get some whites, some blacks, some reds, different colors out there. That would really stand them apart differently. So you notice that right off the bat. Legends of Lucha Libre. You got his glamour shot that he got taken at his local mall, I believe, if my sources are correct on that one. He does come with a light tube. Now, this is the first time I've ever seen a light tube with a wrestling figure. I'm pretty sure. This is the first time I've ever owned one, at least. I can tell you that. I'm very confident on that. Reminds me back in the days of trading tapes in high school of, Big Japan, pro wrestling, and all that kind of stuff. Some of those death matches. Very interesting. He comes with one of those. Tells you, how far we've come with wrestling figure accessories. We used to get the barbed wire bats, maybe the barbed wire board with jacks a little bit. Now we're moving into the light tubes and these accessories packs. He comes with like a knife, I think, or something. Like basically a little axe. Crazy how violent wrestling has gotten. Kind of. Sort of. Same as Rey Fenix, the JPEG is not punched, so that's a cool feature. Besides that, the packaging is pretty similar. On the side here, we've got a glamour shot, once again. Very close. I guess it's closer than the last one, just not quite the same. I'd love to see these in the actual outfits, but that's a really small gripe at this point. But very cool to see on the side. Very Mattel packaging-esque. You guys are familiar with the Mattel Elite packagings. That's what that reminds me of. There's the top letting the sunlight in so you can see the figure real good. Same type of warnings on the bottom. Won't go over that. Nothing fun on the side either. And then, of course, the back. We got a little bit of a blurb up here. We got 3 action shots. We got the figure glamour shot, which I think is really cool. Really highlighting the figure here. You got the Legends of Lucha Libre up there. And then you're promoting his brother down here, plus the 2 accessory sets, which I said I did not pick up. Maybe one of these days. I don't know. Didn't really excite me. I mean, it excited me. I just didn't want to spend any more money than I had to. So there you go. All right, so there's the packaging. Let's take a look. Let's open it up. Maybe. These are very similar opening to a Mattel Elite. The box is very similar. Hard to get open on the side, though. They're kind of sticky, so you can see I ripped the box once again. A lighter plastic than Mattel Elite. I don't mind that. Probably better for the environment anyway, so is what it is. Let's pull them out. We'll pull that background out as well. See you later, box. And then there's that background. Cool. Very cool. I like the colors. It really makes them pop. See you later. All right, let's look at the plastic prison first. And there it is. Old Penta. Looking only like he can look, one might say. All right, pull off the front. See you later. One hand fell right out. I noticed it got kind of jostled in the package. That might annoy some people that are inbox collectors seeing a jostled hand. Didn't really bother me, obviously. Let's pull those hands out. I like the spacing of the hands here. You got the 2 down there. It's kind of funny how that works. Why can I not get this out? Light tube, there it is. And if any of you guys that are watching this got the accessories pack, leave a note in the comments. What do you think about the accessories pack? Obviously, those are really prone to go to fig photographers out there. Somebody that's really taking pictures with that kind of stuff. I can see how that could be of a lot of use. See you later. I think that would be pretty cool for some of you fig photographers out there. All right, let's look at the accessories first. First thing, we got the hands, and man, you got all kinds of different. You got the 2 holding hands. You got his little Penta Zero Marrow hands, for 1 for each, so you can choose which side. You got 2 gloved open hands. Very small nitpick here. There's no punching hands. I always like at least one fisted hand with my figures. Does not have that, but these are close enough. They hold stuff, so I'd say those are close enough. But just to note, no fisted hand there. Got the extra head here. Very cool. So I will note the head, it's got the peg inside there, which is a little different. It's usually the other way around. Usually the peg's inside and you pop the head off. So it's the same concept, just kind of backwards. We did recently see that in the Marvel Legends with the Miles Morales figure. We don't see that a lot. So that really kind of confused some people, including myself when I opened that Miles at first. It was the same concept as this. So you don't see it, like I said, very often. So just a note there. I think I will probably use this head, the screaming kind of crazy ripped mask head. That's probably the one I'm going to use on display. We have other heads with him with the Jazzwares figures. I think that one's different enough that it'll be really make this one pop and give it some differentiation on my shelf. Everything else seems to be the same with Rey Fenix. When I say that, I'm talking articulation. The articulation's all going to be the same, so I don't need to go through all the articulation again. Same concept with the knee pads. I actually like this knee pad look. It's very G.I. Joe classified. I keep referencing other lines in here. Hopefully you guys understand or at least know some of that stuff if you guys follow other lines out there. Very similar concept to the knee guards on those G.I. Joes. I like this though. I think we're all so used to the elbow pads and the knee pads and stuff like that. It's something different. It's a step to the future, we'll call it. So I like that a whole lot. But like I said, articulation is all the same. He does have his skirt. I guess we'll call it a skirt. That does go up and down. I don't see any stress to it, so it does have some movements to it. As you guys have seen with plastics over the years, sometimes you do this and it stresses the plastic and it could break off. I'm sure this could break off if you mess with it enough, but it seems fairly durable to me. Everything else, man, these bright tattoos. I love bright tattoo work. I think I need to add it to my list. I love big wrestlers, masked wrestlers, face painted wrestlers, and colorful tattooed wrestlers as well. Some really colorful tattoos on Penta, as you can imagine. I'm not sure what the hole is in the back for. That's an interesting change that we're not used to. Very, very interesting. Does he fit on the ringside collectible stand? Yes, he does. So just like his brother, he does. I think I just saw... Oh, no, I didn't. For a second, I thought he had toe articulation. I'm not the biggest toe articulation fan. Very interesting. I thought for a second I saw that. He does fit on there, but it's not as easy as Rey. You do a little screw driving in there, you can eventually get him in there. So he will fit on the ringside collectible stands for those of you guys keeping track at home. So there you go there. Now, how about this light tube? Just a light tube. There's nothing special to this. I mean, it doesn't break. It's not a breakaway one or anything like that. I assume it'll fit right in his hand. Of course it... Very tight hand. Can I get it in there? There it goes. Very tight joints across the board. We talked with Rey Fenix. This is the same way. Even tight trying to get this in his hand, but it will fit and go in there. Pretty cool accessory, though. Like I said, I've never had a light tube as a wrestling figure accessory or any accessory, so I think that's pretty cool to get a light tube, something new. But once again, very, very strong figure. Love the white face paint with the black. The red and the black really pops. I do believe Jazzwares is coming out with their version of this in the red. That's kind of, I think, been the rumor out there. Is that going to be Series 6, possibly? I'm sure we'll see a red version, and we'll have to say, hey, who did it better? But we could say Boss Fight at least did this version better, and I love that, not that Jazzwares and Boss Fight work together on the figures, but at least they had a point of difference. As I'll show it right now. Here's the first Penta we got from Jazzwares, of course. You guys remember this figure. I love the white and the black and red and black. Two very good colors that go together very well for action figures. I'm glad that we didn't get white and black with Boss Fights and Jazzwares. At least they feel different right now. I'm sure down the line both companies will probably swap. I don't know if the contracts with Rey Fenix and Penta are still good with Boss Fight. If Boss Fight can continue to make figures of them, I'm guessing probably not. But I got to think Jazzwares will give us the red and black Penta in the future. Now here's the big $1 million question. How do these guys scale? I think, let's see, I thought there was a little, oh, that's tattooed. Never mind. I thought there was a smudge on here, but it was one of his tattoos of a little cross. But now let's see. Oh yeah, height-wise, definitely smaller than Jazzwares, as you can see here. You know, we're at least an inch smaller. So I don't know. It's interesting with luchadors out there. Obviously, luchadors are a smaller wrestler to begin with. And we've had some issues with Jazzwares and their scales. People say maybe Dustin Rhodes is too tall or Cody's too short. I don't know if the scale has been totally found yet, and I'm sure Boss Fight's kind of in the same boat. So technically, is this Penta the right size? And this one's a little big? I'm really not sure. I'm terrible with sizing and guesstimating between the lines. Obviously, they're different lines. They're going to have different scales, at least a little bit, no matter what we do. But that's the size difference here. Very interesting. Let's see Rey Fenix. So this is, of course, the Jazzwares version. And the regular. Same thing. Not as bad, though. I guess it's about the same. To me, it feels like... I don't know. It feels like this one doesn't... The height difference isn't as bad as this. These two seem a little bit different. I don't know if it's just the mask and the face paint. I don't know. Smoke and mirrors. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but... Rey feels all right. Can I get him to stand here in a quick position? Come on. Come on, Rey Fenix, stand for me. There it is. So I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments your thought. I know a lot of people have these AEW Jazzwares figures, and a lot more will have those than the Boss Fight. Very interesting to compare the two. Just the Boss Fight, they feel very similar. Boss Fight are just smaller. Just smaller. And then at the end of the day, these are $15, $16 cheaper. So you got to note that too. So just different business models. Boss Fight smaller than Jazzwares, the production differences, all that kind of stuff. Both extremely solid figures. So for Penta, it's close. It's close. I wish I was comparing the same colors. That might make it easier. But I think I do like the head on the Boss Fight better. It is more realistic. I mean, they're both good. This one's got the tongue out. It's a cool look. They're both very solid figures. I mean, it's pretty close. I mean, these almost feel like a Jazzwares figure. They feel closer to Jazzwares than they do to Mattel. Speaking of Mattel, I do have a Sin Cara figure right here. So you can kind of see where that scales. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how tall Sin Cara is. But this Sin Cara Elite lines up extremely close to Penta here. Same with Rey Fenix. Same sizing there. So maybe if you're playing in a universe and you need something that scales with Mattel, these scales seem to, at least in this comparison, can scale better with Mattel than they do Jazzwares. So there's a little note there. And of course, we might as well bring in old Will Ospreay from the Super 7 line. He's got his sword. He's ready to cut somebody if he has to. These are a little taller than the Jazzwares. Let me pull that out. Yeah, they really do dwarf. They really do dwarf the Boss Fight. But I tell you what, these Super 7s were better than I thought they were going to be, which is good, but a lot of paint problems, or not paint problems, well, yeah, paint problems, especially on Ospreay, on the joints. It looks really weird. Some just interesting problems with the Super 7s. Go back, check out my Super 7 unboxing video. To me, I do like the Boss Fights better than the Super 7, so that is something. And cheaper price point by $15, and a smaller company Boss Fight than Super 7, at least interpreted in my head. So just kind of comparing and talking about these guys a little bit. Super 7 is my least favorite here. Mattel Elites are some of the best figures ever. A lot like the Jack's Ruthless Aggression figures, the Mattel Elites really set the bar for the future for some of these Jazzwares, Super 7s, and Boss Fight figures. I like Mattel's a whole lot. I still like Mattel's. But I love the tight joints, the extra articulation of the Boss Fight Studios. Very, very solid figures. Obviously, you're paying $15 more than a Mattel, too, so we got to take that in mind, both ends of the spectrum. So I don't know. All of these figures have good pros and cons. Really, a lot of pros with the Boss Fight in the Jazzwares. Not a lot of negatives for these for me. The Mattels have their issues every once in a while. Loose joints, paint application issues. Very high production, so you got high-end going through, many figures running through the factory. You're going to have more paint problems because there's more figures made as a whole. But between Jazzwares and Boss Fight, boy, it's close. It's a dead tie for me. I'm not sure exactly. I wish these Boss Fight figures were just a hair taller to match the Jazzwares, or somewhere between Mattel and Jazzwares would have been great. But they do look a little smaller. But most luchadors are not, over 6 feet tall. So I think between smoke and mirrors, you can get by putting these with some of the other characters out there and stuff. All in all, very solid. I'm happy I picked these up. Yes, I almost had to wait 2 years, but very, very solid figures. You should be able to still get these. Obviously, ringsidecollectibles.com. Use discount code Kyle, save 10%. Big Bad Toy Store, go through the link in the description below. I think you can get it in there. Boss Fight said they might have leftovers on their website, so take a look there. But to me, you want to get in on the first go around of these figures, your first chance to get a Boss Fight figures. I think this is a good purchase. I think I'd recommend this to everybody out there. Go out, get these. See for yourself. You might love them, you might hate them, but you got to feel for yourself, find out for yourself what you think about these. And for me, definitely worth the money. I'm glad I got these. I didn't like waiting as long as we had to, but I'm going to chalk that up to COVID and some of the smaller run issues that are out there. All in all, very solid. So I hope you enjoyed a little bit of this discussion, some of the comparison. If you got any questions, got any comments, hit me up below. You guys know. Tell me, did you pick these up? Are you passing on these? Are you thinking about them? Playing the long game? All the usual stuff. You guys let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. You've made it this far, you might as well hit the like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we unbox every wrestling figure known to man, it seems like, and then some. So make sure you subscribe, hit the old notification bell. And so there it is, the Boss Fight, the inaugural voyage on the good ship Boss Fight with Rey Fenix and Penta. I enjoyed it. They get a thumbs up for me. You tell me in the comments. So for the whole gang here, I'm Kyle. I'll see you guys all real soon.